things a little bit differently. But so the first thing I'm going to do, since like getting the stuff together isn't really going to take all that long, is I'm going to get the oven set to 350 degrees. So I'm going to get that going first. So get that going, and by the time we're ready with the cookies in the oven's going to be set to go. At least, like it might be ready early, but whatever. It's not a big deal. Even I've got this written down. All my other stuff I've ever done is always just like kind of doing it by fly. But like, you can tell this is kind of old piece of paper. It's got like a lot of shit on it. Like I've been using it for a while. I actually have multiple recipes. Nope, never mind, just the one. But anyway, so yeah. So we're baking chocolate chip cookies today, and yeah, I mean the recipe isn't like it's not like passed down from me or anything. But like pretty much all cookie recipes are going to be pretty much exactly the same. About the one thing that you can like kind of experiment with is like the chocolate chips themselves. As far as this one goes, like you could like add nuts on top of it, or you could like replace chocolate chips with M&Ms and stuff like that. Well, if you don't have an oven, you're prepping a bonfire, then cross your fingers, just throw them in there and scoop them out after a bit, and you'll see how they come out. Right? Look at them go. We'll see. I guess another thing is I'm using a stand mixer here, but I don't, like, you don't need it. I used to always do cookies just by hand, but then like several years ago I got there was a sale on these mixers, and I was like, oh my god, I can't not pass it up. So I ended up making the purchase, and I freaking love this thing. It's really great at doing a lot of stuff, including like you can whip stuff up like really great in this. I've got to make some like good like chocolate mousse and stuff like that I would not have made by hand, because if you've ever whipped cream by hand, fuck that, it's horrible. So alright, so let's get this rocking and rolling here first. First thing we need is 1 cup of butter, so that's 2 sticks of butter. It's unsalted butter, and they need to be like room temperature. And if they're not room temperature, then you need to like soften them up in the microwave. Because if they're cold, then they're not gonna mix properly, and you're gonna kind of get lumpy cookies, and they're not gonna really be that great. So that's gotta be softened butter. So we're gonna get that in the bowl first. So each stick is a half a cup, so we need 1 cup, so we get 2 sticks. There we go. 2 sticks of butter. And then we're going to need 1 full cup of regular white sugar, and then we're going to need 1 full cup of brown sugar. And like with brown sugar, since it's like wet, you know, like it's going to be, you either need to like kind of pack it like into the cup to make sure that you have enough, because otherwise it's not going to be right. So first thing we need is some white sugar, so I'm going to grab that, 1 cup of that. See if I can manage to get a freaking cup out of this. So I guess I'll just take, usually like with flour you want to like level it off. And that's how like you get an actual cup, because if you pack flour in when you're doing that stuff, so I just have like a little chopstick thing there so I can make sure I get like a level, like 1 nice level cup of that. And then we're going to need 1 cup of brown sugar. I have light brown sugar here. You can use regular brown sugar or light brown sugar. They both seem to come out fine with me. This is just what I happen to have. Why? Who put all this tape on here? What the fuck is going on? There's way too much tape on this. Oh my god, there is like just a shitload of tape on this. Alright. You know, this is, well, I can tell you right now, this is brown, this is kind of older brown sugar, but it's still, it was wrapped really tight. So it's still like plenty pliable, which is good. If it's like really hard, you can still use it, but you kind of want to soften it up. So like if your brown sugar is like hard as a rock, then you could put it in the microwave with like a cup of water. Like just, not like, don't pour the cup of water on it, just like have a container of water in the microwave with like some brown sugar that you're trying to soften up, and then you just microwave it for a little bit, and it'll kind of get some moisture back in that thing. You use grams and it just makes sense. I don't know, look at them go. Like, that's gonna have to be your conversion problem, not mine, because I haven't the faintest idea as to what's gonna be correct for you. Must be like some crumbs in the oven. I'm like smelling something burning. I'm like, what the is going on? Alright, so we're gonna, like I said, we need to... I just broke my cup. Well, that sucks. Well, I guess I'm using it without the handle from now on. Maybe the brown sugar is not quite as soft as I had thought it was, but either way, that's fine. As long as I don't get any plastic in the cookies. Well, I'll just make them crunchy. So I've got it really pretty packed in there. So that's a cup. So I just snapped the fucking handle off of that. Cooking by weight is pretty accurate. Just fucking break it. Don't mind me. Alright, so we'll get that in there. Okay. Stupid cup. What are you doing? Oh, I need that for flour. Well, rip that thing. This cookie making stream is rated mature. Yeah, that whole channel is set to mature. I'm not going to change it just for cooking. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is just the way that I know the recipe, so... But, I mean, cooking by weight is how I do a lot of different stuff. It's just this particular one is just, I just know how to do it like this way. Goodness. You're eating Ghirardelli bittersweet chocolate chips straight from the bag? Nice. Alright, so we're going to get this mixing. We want to make sure this is like really mixed and creamed like really nice and smooth. So we're going to get this going here. I'm going to lock that down. We're going to get that going. But, yeah, like I said, like you absolutely don't need a mixer. Like this is just, I just like made the purchase for a mixer like several years ago, and so I get to live the life of luxury of using a mixer from now on. But it's certainly not necessary. Like I said, I always just do it by hand. It was taped that way to contain the brown sugar's fury. Yeah, it did. It murdered the measuring cup. This brown sugar is out to get us for sure. So we're gonna wait for this to kind of mix nice and evenly, and then we're gonna add. Well, I guess we could do the eggs next. We want to, like I said, we want to wait and make sure that this is all nice and smooth. Don't want to do it until it's ready to go. Demand justice for the sugar. Call the judge. Don't worry, we're gonna cook it alive. It's gonna be covered. But yeah, how's your Wednesdays going, Outlaw, Slicks, and Interceptor? Good to see you guys as well. And I hope your days are going fantastic. And we're getting some clump up on the mixer here, so we're gonna bust that down. Get the hell out of there. What are you doing? I need you to mix properly. Alright, so we're gonna be putting in 2 eggs into this, and you want to make sure that you put in 1 egg at a time, or else it might not like mix really great. So we're gonna break these 2 eggs into the same container, but we're just gonna pour in 1 at a time. Like I don't like when it comes to baking, I don't like just breaking the egg right into the container that I'm mixing in, because it just increases the likelihood that I accidentally get a shell in. So what I generally do is I just break them into a container first, and then I just kind of pour them into the mix afterwards. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, get those eggs over there. And I didn't get any shells in there, so that's always a bonus. Like I said, we're just gonna put one in at a time. Can I repeat how much butter? You got your notepad ready. Yeah, it's one cup of butter. 1 cup of butter. So that's, for me, that's 2 sticks of butter, because a stick is a half. So we're gonna pour 1 egg in at a time. Here, right? Okay, there's one. And we're gonna let that mix thoroughly. And for I could put this salt in right now too if I wanted to. I've got that same mixer. You just use it for making bread dough. Maybe it's time to try cookies. Yeah, I mean, like I said, like it's not absolutely not necessary. All right, that's looking mixed in already. So I'll just throw the other egg in first. Okay, throw that egg in there. There we go. Okay, we'll let that get mixed in. These eggs are pretty big. Fucking tremendous eggs. Mixer doesn't mix. Stuck all over the metal thing and it goes like wee. I don't know. I don't hear it doing that. Nah, it's mixing fine. Alright. Now that's mixing, and then we're gonna need 1 teaspoon of we're going to need 1 teaspoon of salt, and it's not like, you don't need to worry about, this is a half a teaspoon. I don't know where my teaspoon measuring thing went, so I need 2 of these, just using table salt. You don't need to worry about stuff becoming salty. Really, salt is kind of like, if there was a secret ingredient to making like sweet stuff taste really great, it would be salt, because really salt's just like going to enhance the flavor of the whole thing. It's not going to make it taste salty, it's just going to make everything else taste better. So, what brand is the mixer? It's a KitchenAid mixer. So, alright, so we got the salt in there. Now we're going to need some pure vanilla extract. We're going to need 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, so I need 4 half teaspoons, as it turns out. Oh. I'm going to go a little light on this last one because I kind of spilled there before. So 2 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract right there. And you can see how like smooth it is. Like that's frickin' perfect. That is absolutely phenomenal. Okay, now the next thing I need is, I'm going to actually shut this off for just a second, is I'm going to need to get a teaspoon of baking soda, and I need to get it in like mixed in with like a little bit of warm water, so that way it like makes sure to like kind of activate the baking soda. So I'm gonna grab that, and I gotta run some water and get some hot water going. That'll take just a second. But yeah, you want to make sure that you kind of it can kind of make the difference, or making sure that you break up the baking soda, it doesn't clump up, and then make sure to like get it so that you're not going to have problems with your cookies. Otherwise, they might not be quite as good as they could be. Alright, so I just got like a little bit of warm water in this, not like a whole lot. This is just like a 1/4 cup thing, but I'm not using it a full, I'm just using it to mix the baking soda. So I need 1 teaspoon of baking soda, so this is a half teaspoon. I'm just going to like grab a shitload off of it. Alright, there we go. I'm just going to mix that up, make sure that's not clumping up or anything like that. That in there. Alright, looks good. Don't have like a bunch of like the powder like stuck in the bottom of the thing or anything. So got it in there. Alright, we're going to mix that up. Okay, so So that's the butter. That's 1 cup of butter, 1 cup of white sugar, 1 cup of brown sugar, and then 2 eggs. But you put one at a time. I got it written down because I don't ever remember how to do it. This is like my old recipe sheet. And then teaspoon of baking soda, mixed in with a little bit of hot water. Teaspoon of salt, and then now we're going to be adding in 3 cups of flour and 3 cups of chocolate chips. So usually what I do at this point, like we're not gonna mix using like this mixer attachment to get this stuff all mixed together. What we're gonna do is I have a hook mixer, and we're just gonna mix it with that. I mean, you could, like, again, you can just mix it by hand. It's not that big of a deal, but it's just what I have, so that's what we're gonna do. So I don't gotta do it by hand no more. All right, so that looks good. Nice and creamy, nice and thoroughly mixed. I'm gonna take this off. We're gonna scrape all this shit back into the bowl. All right, looks good. This is gonna fill up this particular thing, and you could just like half everything or double everything. If you were like making cookies for a whole crap ton of people, this is actually like a pretty good. This is like actually a lot of cookies that we're getting out of this. But if you were making, you know, if you didn't want to make as much, just half everything. And if you want to make an insane amount, just double everything. If you want to go fucking crazy, I guess. That's pretty crazy, though. I don't think I've ever made a batch of cookies that big. I'm gonna be baking at the oven for like fucking a couple hours at that point. Alright, now, get this over here. And we're going to need 3 cups of flour. So, unlike the brown sugar, what we want to be doing with the flour is when we measure it, like we get 3 cups, but we don't, you don't like pack it in, because you could like get a shitload, you can get a shitload of flour into a cup, like since we're measuring with a measuring cup and not by weight, right? So it's like you don't want to put way too much, or else your cookies are going to be all fucking floury and gross. So I'm like just leveling off, like I'm not jamming the flour in there, we're just kind of filling it to full and then scraping off the top. And we're going to throw, there's 1 cup. Come on, flour, don't screw with me, man. Get in there. There's 2 cups. And 3 cups. And we're just making a big mess, but whatever. I have to clean everything up afterwards anyway. So we'll get that going in there. We're done with this. I already have the chocolate chips measured out, so I don't need to measure those out. Make the giant one gigantic cookie to destroy the world. You need sugar to fill your darkest dungeon runs? My God, that's too much sugar. I'm gonna mix this up first before I add the chocolate chips. This has got the hook attachment on here. It's like if you were mixing like flour or like you know, like bread dough or pizza dough, then this would be what you'd use. But we're making cookie dough, so that's how we're making it. We're doing it with the hook on the thing. It'll take a little bit to get it all mixed up, but that's fine. And we can scrape down the sides here to help it along. But no rush. It's not about, kind of baking is a lot more, it's not like you're, you know, always really flipping things and actually super duper active with the actual cooking process, I would say. So it's really all about just you know, just kind of relaxing and kind of enjoying the quiet time, or cranking. Usually if I'm in the kitchen like baking or cooking anything, I usually like crank the music up and stuff like that. Just kind of relax, have a good time. So we'll wait and let that get mixed up. And with the chocolate chips that we're gonna get, I have like I've got some like just regular, just not dark chocolate, just milk chocolate chip cookies. And kind of like, if there's like just a way to like, wow, how do I make my chocolate chip cookies taste better? But what type of flour to use? Just all-purpose flour, Slicks. Just all-purpose flour. I mean, it's really like, you know, it's really just like the quality of the chocolate chips are going to go a really long way. So we have, fortunately they had on sale Ghirardelli milk chocolate chips, so that's what we have. And like, whatever your favorite is what you should use. And you don't have to use chocolate chips to make these cookies, right? Like I said, like I've done it before. I really like almonds. So like, we've done almonds before with it, and that's freaking great. So like, I might take like half of the chocolate chips out and add like that many almonds, like, 'cause that's how much I freaking love almonds. Or like, or whatever kind of nuts or chocolate that you like. If you want M&Ms, throw M&Ms in there. Yeah, it's freaking great. Alright, we're probably gonna be good on that, and we'll let it get these chocolate chips in here. And we'll have to mix a little bit by hand, but it's fine. So 3 cups of chocolate chips, so same exact amount of cups, same exact amount of chocolate chips as flour. Just crush a bar of chocolate into chunks. Yeah, I've done that once before, but it's, I mean, it's at least, like, for me, it like wasn't any cheaper. But yeah, then yeah, for me it like wasn't any cheaper to do that, so I did it once just to like try a different kind of chocolate that I thought it would go good, but it wasn't really that great. So yeah, but yeah, you could totally do that. You could bust up a chocolate, and then you can actually get like even bigger like chocolate chunks if you really want, which is actually pretty fucking awesome. But looks like there's more chocolate chips than dough. Well, it's the same amount of chocolate chips as there is flour. It's equal parts. So yeah, there's a lot of chocolate chips in there. There's a lot of chocolate chips. But alright, we're looking pretty good here. And we'll mix up a little bit by hand just to make sure we got the proper mixture of chocolate chips to cookie dough. If you're cooking with your family or kids or whatever, or just if you're baking by yourself, then this is like delicious. This hook is amazing. Definitely, I highly recommend tasting everything as you're going. All right, so we're gonna mix this up a little bit better. Chocolate chips are the cheapest way to buy chocolate. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can get better deals on different kinds of chocolate, but it really just kind of depends. Just kind of depends, I think. Not looking to cheap out, but it's actually that you can't find chocolate chips. Oh, sure. Well, I mean, I'm just always looking to get the cheapest things, so that's just me. All right, we're gonna make sure that this is mixed pretty good. Whoops! I bumped my camera. Oh my god. All right, this is actually looking pretty darn good, I think. All right, that looks good. That in there. Alright, so delicious. So now what we're going to do, I already have the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, that is. So now what I've got is I've got a couple of baking sheets over here that I'll bring over. I'll actually wipe this up just a little bit. Make my life a little bit easier after we're done here. Okay, very nice. Okay. So now I got some baking sheets over here, and we got some baking, some parchment paper on here. And you can actually just do them like right on the baking sheets, and they usually don't, but I just don't like having to clean them. So these are great. I can just use them through all the cookie process. That's what we're going to do. And if there's like another super secret technique, what's up, Ardorian? How's it going? What's up, Omoon? Happy Wednesday to you both. If there is, I'm making you hungry, well, fucking good. Go start making some cookies. If there's a secret to making your life a little bit easier when you're like kind of handling the cookies and getting them onto the thing, it's an ice cream scoop. Ice cream scoop. Especially one with a little thing that moves the wang dangle thing that like kind of scrapes it off. So this is awesome. This is like making my life a bajillion times easier as far as this stuff goes. So we just like fill up the ice cream scoop, and then we're just gonna get that right there. And these are gonna spread out a good bit. These are like pretty fucking big cookies. So, but we're gonna. That's pretty full. And scrape a little bit off of there. So I think we're only gonna be able to fit like 6 on this. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I can fit more. Maybe I can fit 7. We're gonna try and get 7 in there. Or maybe 8. All right, and you can see I'm just kind of scraping off on the side of the thing just to kind of get like a kind of even cookie. Because if you like make one gigantic cookie and then like some other smaller ones, then they're just not going to come out cooked evenly, right? Just like when we're cooking anything, we always try to kind of make them at least vaguely the same size. All right, I guess I'm not going to try and fit another one like in the middle there. I'm just going to put another one like on the side here, because they're going to spread out a good bit. And what I like to do, since for these ones, like I find that like they kind of like have a tendency to go a little unevenly. That's going to end up being one giant cookie. No, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. So I'm going to like take some of this parchment paper. I have some got a little square of it, and we're going to kind of press it so that way it's. We can kind of have a better idea. This one might bleed into these ones in the corner, but I think we're going to be fine. This is some really sticky shit I got going on right now. Maybe it's a little too warm. That's alright. Hopefully. Or it's not, I'm just going to ruin some cookies, that's fine. So I'm just going to get this one tray in, and the bake time on this is 10 minutes, and it's the middle rack of the oven, and 350 degrees, and 10 minutes, and I turn it halfway. So I got them. These ones might spread, but I think that's going to be fine. And if they do, it's not a big deal. So I'm just going to get this one tray in. I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes, just so we can get that one going. Or no, not 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And we'll turn it at 5 minutes, and then I'll put the other one in at 5 minutes, probably. Alright, and then we're going to go ahead and get this other tray rocking and rolling here. Okay. I feel like all this stuff kind of came out a little bit warm. Maybe I have a little bit too much liquid in it. No, I think it's fine. All right, we're not gonna go crazy and put that other one, like we're not gonna put one in the middle like we did last time, because I don't know, that one might end up kind of spreading out and screwing us over. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, get that. If you do this with like a spoon, like you could get like, okay, it's just you gotta handle the cookie dough a lot, and then you end up with the kind of sugary cookie hands, which is fine, but I don't know, this is just how I like to do it. I really thought that like the ice cream scoop thing, like that made my life a bajillion times easier, and I even started using that before I started using the stand mixer. Yeah, and like I said, we're just going to kind of push them out just a little bit. And they do flatten out a lot, because you got to remember, it's just sugar, basically. It's sugar chocolate with like a little bit of flour. Sugary cookie hands is pretty much the opposite of a pretty standard problem. I would probably agree with you. They're pretty delicious. Sugary cookie hands are pretty delicious, as it turns out. But I don't know. I like using the ice cream scoop. It makes my life a lot easier. All right, don't need that stuff anymore. Get that over there. And if you're doing like cookies that are, if you want to do cookies that are a lot, like really like chewy kind of cookies, like it's like a different recipe. Like these are really nice and soft when they're coming out. Chilling the cookies, yeah. Usually I don't have a problem of them coming out like that, but I think I was going a little bit slower than what I might have normally. And usually I use the eggs right out of the fridge too, and they didn't end up being out of the fridge, so it's probably a couple of degrees warmer than what I would typically end up baking cookies at. But either way. They're not going to come out like super runny as far as I know, because this is the way that I standardly do them. But now it's the waiting game of waiting for cookies. This is what our life has become. Is just waiting for cookies. If I had another baking sheet, I would get another one going, but I don't have. I only have two. Unfortunately, and even if I did have one, the camera is completely cock-blocking me from getting into that drawer. But if you're doing like chewy type cookies, then you need to like get more moisture into the cookies, which ends up being like you have to use more. Like I think you end up using like 4 yolks and like two regular eggs, and then just 2 extra yolks on top of it, but. I don't know, that's like a different recipe, one that I'm not familiar with anyway. But we'll get them spun around here in just a second. And they're going to be pretty good to go. And today is Wednesday, so at 2 we're going to be going back to FTL, and then after that we're probably going to be switching over to Stardew Valley, I reckon. Anyway, and then probably Thursday, Friday, that's an awesome mixer. It works really great. It was like, it's got to be like, definitely, if it's not my favorite, it's probably like my second favorite purchase that I've probably ever made for the kitchen. The other one would probably have to be the rice cooker. That is fucking amazing. Huge time saver, though. But yeah, fortunately I was able to get one of these on sale, and like, this is just kick ass. Really kick ass. Well, there's the first time for everything. You heard it here first, Gur. Getting cock-blocked in the kitchen. That's what happens. Alright, so we're a little over 5 minutes now, so I'm going to make sure to get these spun. I need an oven mitt. Spoon. And I'm going to get these ones in. And then after that timer goes, I gotta set a timer for like 6 minutes. Yeah, I mean, the KitchenAid mixer works absolutely freaking fantastic. And then, like I said, the rice, I have a rice cooker that I got as a gift a couple of years ago, like one of the best, well, yeah, so I guess I didn't actually purchase that, but it's definitely one of the best things that certainly made my life a lot easier, because it's just, you just turn the damn thing on with the rice and water in there, and it's just good to go. It makes perfect rice every time, don't even have to worry about it. And then the other thing that I just got recently was a waffle maker. I didn't think that I needed a waffle maker in my life, but as it turns out, waffle maker is pretty awesome. Waffle maker is pretty awesome as far as like, every once in a while making some waffles for breakfast. Fucking great. But yeah, I mean, the KitchenAid mixer, hopefully it ends up, lasting a lifetime. That's the hope, the dream, and I've certainly put a good bit of hours into it just in the short amount of time that I've had it. So certainly makes everything a lot easier as far as any kind of mixing stuff that you got. Is it one that flips over? What do you mean flips over? It does, like this, like goes up and down. And I can have an attachment, lots of frickin' attachments for this. I don't really have any. But I've got like 3 different mixers. I've got the hook mix and the paddle mixer that you saw, and then I also have a wire whisk mix, which is like, there's no better way to frickin' get heavy whipping cream like whipped than that. Like, it works absolutely fantastic, and whipping egg whites as well. But heavy whipping cream is like a huge pain in the ass. Usually you got to do it like over ice. But I mean, as long as it's even a little bit cold, this thing will just whip the piss out of it, so it's really good. Oh, the waffle maker. Oh, sure. Yeah, it flips. It's like it's not one that like is like a standing. It doesn't like stand and then flip. I don't even know where my hands are. It doesn't stand and flip. It's one that's like lays flat, and then you like pick it up, and then you go boop, and then you flip it on the other side. So yeah, it flips. Yeah, and it wasn't like expensive either. It was like $25 or something like that, or $30. Yeah, it works really good. Minute 30 left on the cookies. See what happens. I've actually not baked cookies in this oven before. So there's that. I haven't actually done that with this with this oven before. Can you bake in a toaster? Like shove dough in there and wait for an hour or so? That doesn't sound like a good idea. That sounds like you're gonna make a mess. Not like a bread toaster. You mean like a toaster oven? You can bake all kinds of shit in a toaster oven. I mean, it's just like a small oven. Electric Belgian waffle maker, some whipped cream and some strawberries. Breakfast food, yes, that is, let's start off the day with some dessert. Like, we're basically having cake for breakfast. Well, yeah, that's what I should have said. This is our breakfast cooking stream that we're doing today. We're baking cookies for breakfast, so get out your, so throw out your bowls of cereal and bust out the milk and cookies, because that's what we're having for breakfast today. You make burgers in them, but for bread, probably you don't know. That's the reward for being an adult, exactly. You get to eat cookies for breakfast and get cake. You get to have just dessert for your whole meal. Okay, so we're going to reset another timer. I'll just do it for 5 minutes, and we'll see what the other cookies are doing. Alright, they're not actually done yet, like, at all. So I'm going to let them go for a bit longer. Yeah, they still have several minutes left, so I'm going to continue to let them go. They're not baked like they would normally look for me when I would, when they'd be done for me. So I don't know, we'll see. Like I said, I've never baked in this oven I've never baked cookies in this oven before. I guess I never, and I also don't have an oven thermometer to check the baking temperatures for it either. In a bread toaster, you would definitely start a fire. That certainly would probably not end very well. If you're just kind of throwing raw dough inside of a bread toaster, you'd have to not only like put it on the side. I don't even know if they like work. We'll just have to disable some safety features and then roll the dice, right? That's how cooking goes. Don't really know what it's called, but the thing you want a toaster and then flip them over and press it down just makes the most amazing burgers. You flip the thing over and press it down and it makes the most... I don't know what you're talking about. The toaster thing that you flip over and it presses it down. I don't know, I'm not sure. You like a George Foreman grill? That's like something that you press down on. Is that what you're making burgers on? Yeah, these are definitely taking longer than usual, but that's okay. Not any big rush or anything like that. They're still not brown yet. Yeah. Is this a George Foreman grill? What's up, Eco? How's your Wednesday going? Like, that's... I don't know. That's like that, like, in-home, like, grill thing that's, like, has an angle on it, and it, like, you put stuff in it. You're going to try and find a picture? Alright, let me know, and I'll give you permission. We'll permit it. I'm going to need a spatula to remove things. Then we're also going to want a plate. To actually move the stuff over to once they're actually complete and out of the oven. George Foreman grills are awesome. I've never used one before, Duke. Yeah, it's apparently a George Foreman grill. Okay. We just call it a toaster here. Well, fair enough. I mean, whatever. It's a lot. I know a lot of people that have used them and they really like them a lot. I just never used it before. Dude, Leah hates cookies in Stardew Eco. She hates them. Well, she doesn't hate them, but she doesn't like them. She doesn't like baked, like that kind of stuff. She likes nature things. Okay, she likes nature things. I bet Haley would love cookies. Like, oh my gosh, cookies are delicious. You don't even know. These are so good. Alright. We probably could have stood to put these in the fridge for a little bit and they wouldn't have spread out quite as much. But that's alright. We're going to let them sit for a little bit because they're going to be like just goop is what they are going to be. They're just starting to get nice and brown and stuff. And I am going to need to give these ones in the oven a spin as well. No, but those are looking really good though. You used one back in the day. It was the driest burger you ever had. I don't know. I've never used one before, like I said. Is that a TARDIS cookie jar? Maybe. Maybe it is. Yeah, it is. It is a TARDIS cookie jar. Yep. It does make noise. I think it's out of batteries. Yeah, it's out of batteries. It would normally make noise, but it does not. The cleaning of it was a pain in the ass. I have just a normal grill. Maybe the oven. No way. There's no way the oven wasn't up to temperature. We took a ton of time to get all the cookies made. You have the same cookie jar? Nice. The Dan Bear. Nice. Yeah, this is freaking. This is a nice look. I've never put cookies in it because I just don't want it to make it dirty. And just because it seems like a pain in the ass to clean. Although it does have like a thing inside that like actually you can remove, but I'm not doing that. I'm just going to leave the cookies on the thing for another minute. They aren't seeming to want to pry up. This isn't the normal baking parchment paper that I use, so it seems to be causing me a little bit more problems than what it might normally. But either way, the only time I ever make burgers is on the grill. I don't do them in-house. I think they're kind of a little bit smoky to make in general. Well, you probably just know how to use it. You probably just know how to use it. You got them skills. Either way. So yeah, we got ourselves some nice, delicious baked chocolate chip cookies, and we definitely could have like had them sit in the fridge to make sure that the batter was like gonna hold up a little bit better. But that's alright. They still turned out pretty good. But they didn't all make one gigantic cookie, so that's nice. Alright, we got ourselves some cookies. Delicious. They took way longer to bake than what I'm used to, but we got ourselves some awesome, delicious chocolate chip cookies done and out of the oven. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's like we know what we're doing, with varying degrees. It's been like more than a year since I've made them as well. But either way. So again, the stuff that we went through and used as far as this goes, as far as the ingredients for these cookies, we used 1 cup of butter, and we used 1 cup of white sugar, 1 cup of brown sugar, and you got to pack the brown sugar into the cup as well. And then 2 eggs, and we got to make sure to put them in one at a time, so that way you make sure that they mix in really well. Even if you're mixing them by hand, like I'm not talking about just using the mixer. Like you need to do the eggs one at a time. 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and then you gotta like do it in some warm water. Make sure it's like you know, not clumping up, and it's gonna spread out into your batch really evenly. And then 1 teaspoon of salt, 3 cups of flour, and 3 cups of chocolate chip cookies, chocolate chips. And then you could use like whatever like you want. You could use 3 cups of M&Ms if you wanted to. You could use like 2 cups of chocolate chips and 1 cup of almonds or whatever, like almond slices. But either way, however you want to mix up your cookies, and that's whatever your favorite is. That kind of stuff you can kind of mix and match. They look yummy. Well, thank you. They certainly smell freaking phenomenal. But yeah. So I'm gonna wrap up with that, and I'm gonna be we're gonna be back at 2 Eastern for our FTL stream, and then after FTL we're gonna be doing probably Stardew Valley.